I'm Sherman McElroy, and this is Romantic Romps. Welcome, everyone, to the podcast of Romantic Romps, where guests share their stories of love and how it changed their lives. The Life of Riley, Chapter 1. In 1957, Dwight D. Eisenhower sat in the Oval Office as President of the United States.
I come from the very heart of America.
The housing boom exploded, as did the baby population. Boys of all ages pretended to be engineers when gathering around electric train sets. Little girls played tea party, drinking Kool-Aid from miniature china teacups. Marilyn Monroe, my personal idol, owned the title Queen of Hollywood, along with James Dean as the designated bad boy heartthrob. Hubba hubba. Even so, Humphrey Bogart held my favor in that position, minus the bad boy status. Elvis Presley claimed the crown of King of Rock and Roll, and Lucille Ball rose above all others as the Queen of Comedy. In that same year, I turned 27 years old. I lived and breathed love for my husband of 2 years, who was more than a mere mortal. Sherman was my Adonis. Even though I created an image of Sherman as a Greek god, he fell short of the myth. He didn't boast of youth or a 6'5" stature bearing six-pack abs. At age 35, he displayed a 5'11", rugged and masculine physique with the beginnings of a potbelly from sucking down too much alcohol and not enough exercise. His calves lacked shape and muscle like the Greek god. If painted pink all over, Sherman would make a perfect flamingo lawn ornament. He lacked the chiseled jaw and piercing blue eyes. His jawline was soft and rounded, his eyes the color of my morning coffee. They twinkled as they peered through the smudges on the lenses of his black-rimmed glasses. Boyish curls spun of golden strands covered the crown of the Greek god. Not Sherman's. His black, short hair revealed hints of gray at the temples, giving him a sophisticated appearance. Both God and the opposite of one, however, shared the ability to make a woman swoon with a beguiling smile. Even if Sherman never physically resembled the Greek god of beauty and fertility, he was everything I hoped for in a husband, lover, and future father of our children. Right from the get-go of my marriage, my mother continued to press upon me that a wife's place is in the home. She did it every chance over the phone and face-to-face, since we lived near one another. After a while, her words became white noise. When her lips stopped moving, I smiled, nodded, and changed the subject. The advice I truly needed, but missed learning somewhere along the line, was how to cook. That's not to say I didn't try. I did. However, there weren't too many people who defined my culinary skills as legitimate cooking. That part of marriage was a daily frustration, but Sherman politely smiled through those moments. He knew if he didn't, I'd get angry and stomp away, leaving him hungry and horny. For the most part, married life was good. But it got even better when the mailman delivered a very special letter one Saturday afternoon. Opening the letter from the car manufacturing company he worked for, Sherman discovered he received the sought-after promotion of Vice President of Finance. That was the swell part. The bad part was the location of the new job. All VPs worked out of the company's headquarters, 350 miles away from our current residence. When my mother found out we were leaving town, she shed a flood of tears. Only after I reminded her of a little thing called a telephone did she settle down. "I'll call you every day," she told me. She could, too. My parents were quite wealthy, so the cost of long-distance calls would not bother her a bit. Great. Arriving at our new, overly populated destination, we bought a charming 3-story home on the north end of town. Being that the house was a 1923 fixer-upper, it needed a lot of tender, loving care. First things first, though, moving in and making it our own. While unboxing some of Sherman's sports trophies I never knew existed, like one for squash. What the hell was squash anyway, other than a vile vegetable? I kept an eye out for a writing pad. I wanted to document this momentous occasion. I first made a list of all repairs needed to the outside of the house. Number 1. Remove the splintered and decayed fascia boards, then replace and paint. Number 2. Scrape stucco that looked like skin peeling after a brutal sunburn, then paint. Number 3. Plant grass seed on the dirt yard, then water. Number 4. Scrape from the concrete on covered and uncovered sections of the driveway unsightly oil stains from previous leaky cars and uncaring owners. Then rub Bengay on our sore muscles. The inside required more work. Number 1. Scrape plaster falling off the ceilings and sheets from past water leaks in the roof, then patch and paint. 2. Fill in wall cracks, then, yes, paint again. 3. Strip hardwood floors, then stain and buff. 4. Upgrade plumbing fixtures, then take out a loan because our bank account would echo from emptiness. Good God Almighty! When I stopped at page 3, I was about to start over with a more positive list when I heard Sherman cry for help in hanging a picture. In my haste to make sure the picture hung at a height where anyone who looked at it would not require a neck brace, I left the list unfinished and hurried to Sherman's side. "That's too high," I told him.
"No, it's not,"
he replied. "Yes, it is." 10 minutes of raising, lowering, standing back, cocking my head, telling him to shift the frame to the right, no, that's too much, now left, finally ended with a perfectly positioned picture. Since we were still speaking to one another, we moved to the brown brick fireplace that begged for a decorative mirror over the mantel. That's when I discovered my husband either needed an appointment with the optometrist or his eyes were downright crooked. Nothing I said convinced him my measurements were correct and his were off kilter. But knowing when to bow out of an argument, I allowed him to take the lead. He did a great job, in his opinion, and I applauded his effort. I'd straighten the mirror when he wasn't home. Sherman thought it generous for his company to have granted him 2 weeks to settle in our new place before showing up for his new job. I laughed, and with the subtlety of a raging bull, I cited a full set of reasons why he needed to ask for more time. Taking my rant to heart, he requested and received 1 week of vacation on top of what the company had previously granted. 21 days was not enough time to transform this mess filled with potential into a gorgeous home whose picture would soon grace the cover of House Beautiful magazine. What in the hell was he thinking? Not about the amount of work we faced. No matter how I begged, the man stuck to his guns and made no more effort to squeeze a few more weeks out of the company. At the end of the 3rd week, fixing what we could before calling in the professionals to repair our handiwork, we collapsed onto the floral cushions of our metal swing. I held my mixed drink of Jack Daniels and ginger ale and made a toast to our efforts. "Sherman," I said, clinking his glass of straight whiskey, "here's to a job well done," followed by, And if I see one more putty knife, paint roller, or screwdriver, I will spit nails, adding to those left over from rebuilding the pergola. Oh my God! Never again would I put myself through such agony. Not a joint in my body was bending properly, and muscles I didn't know I had screamed at me to cease and desist. Thank the Lord above it was over, at least for this phase. It had to be. Sherman's first day on the job was tomorrow. In one of my moments of soaking my broken body in the deepest bathtub on earth, I had an epiphany. Sherman would not be the only one who monetarily contributed to our household. To hell with my mother's advice of staying home forever. I was going to become an integral part of the workforce and make a difference in the world, doing something, somewhere, for someone. As a result, I planned a date with the job wanted ads in the local newspaper.